Can't see anything. Oh, yeah, here we go. Hello again. It's Amanda Taylor at Oatka Studio. Welcome to my part 2 of the freeze infuse process that I'm working on. It's the 16th day of the Toe River Arts virtual studio tour, so I hope you've checked out all the different artists on the studio tour and continue to and check out my website and shop. But so what we're going to do, you saw the first part of this video where I actually created the freeze infused parts and stuck them in the freezer, and I put them in the kiln and fired them. So we're going to look at some of the results here. If you come down, get closer. So obviously I don't have enough letters for my sign, so I've done a bunch of different signs on the mountain here, so people could actually find my studio, because it's a little difficult to find the studio. So this is another one. Obviously I'm not going to use this S, but it does kind of look funky. Might do that. But the ones that I did this morning are frozen and waiting to be fired. So I'm going to try to fill this whole kiln shelf with components. And my little arrows turned out nicely, so they're all a glass part. So I usually cut a piece of glass, and I like the funky shape, and this is like broken piece of sheet glass that you really can't use for anything else, so this is what I'm using it for. So I'm going to make some components. I might add a little bunny rabbit. These are so cute. They're little bunny rabbits. Anyway, the head. But I'm probably going to make some butterflies and birds and some leaves and add that to this. And then this gets all put into the kiln and tack fused to this piece of glass. So, and I'm doing a low tack fuse because I don't want any of the detail that's in any of the components to disappear if it's fired too high. And so I'm very proud of the little stocking that I made, that was made the other day. So, here's the little stocking, and I put a letter. I made another little frozen letter B to put on there. So I'm gonna make a set of Christmas ornaments out of these. And when I do make the Christmas ornaments, I actually have some really inexpensive bales that I actually silicone onto the backs of them. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a little dot of silicone onto that, and then that gets put onto the back, and then you can hang your little ornament. So actually I'm going to do that right now. I have some silicone here, and the silicone I use is Silicone 1, not Silicone 2. And the reason why it's Silicone 1 is because Silicone 2 doesn't cure the same way, so things fall off. Not a good thing. So here I'm going to actually add a little dot of silicone to here, and that way probably get a little swizzle stick, a little piece of paper towel to smush off the excess. That in there. You just want enough so that it actually sticks to the ornament. So just putting a little dot of silicone on there. So little dab will do you. And then I'm just going to place it onto the back of the piece. So that just gets put right on there. And that's it. Just smush it down a little bit. Yeah, there it's attached to the back. Okay. And that'll be your little hanging ornament once it dries. So it usually I usually let them sit for like 24 hours before I try to move them, so that'll get put away. And I'm going to do my little snowman. So the snowman turned out really cool too, so they're going to become little Christmas ornaments. I used little frit balls for the mouth and for the eyeballs, and this is all the powder work for the nose, and all the other stuff was done in the mold. And I backed the whole thing with white, instead of just black and white, so that when you actually the ornament turns around, you're not looking at the ugliness that might have been at the back when the black kind of ran into the white a little bit. So that's a little ornament.
And the bow.
And the bow was another, like a separate, that was a letter I that we just put onto the cap. So, yeah. Who is watching today? Let's see, Sherry. Hello from New York. Hello, Sherry. If you have any questions, and I hope you watched the previous one so you see the process, but I am going to be doing a couple more here. Anyway, so we're going to, might as well silicone away while I have the silicone out onto the ornaments. So I'm going to put that onto there. And that goes onto the back of the little snowman. And away we go. No, I'm not happy to hear from you. Here, I have to take care of that. Bye-bye.
It's a party in the studio.
Party in the studio, yeah. Anyway, so there is the little snowman ornament that is going to be. So again, I'm just going to set that aside. And we'll do the other ones. Might as well, like I said, as long as I have the silicone out. And smoosh it around a little bit. Here we go. In the back of that one. And these are they're large leaf bales, so I just get them from my wholesaler. So, yeah. There's the other little snowman. It's going away to dry. And then the gingerbread man. So, the gingerbread man turned out really good. You can see, the little mouth and the eyes. So this was all done in the mold, as was this. So these are like a little pair. We have my mother and father and the two little babies here. But yeah, so the mouth on the little babies were, that's an apostrophe that I had on one of my letter molds, and these are like dots on the letter molds, and same with the buttons on the belly. Those were all dots on the letter mold. So, here, oops. Here's the mold that I use. So, here's the apostrophe. There's the dots that I use for the eyes and the buttons. So, but they turned out perfect for the mouth. And then these were little footballs that I used for this one. But yeah. Anyway, so we're going to do the same thing. Like I said, might as well, since I have all the silicone out. All the silicones, only a tube of silicone. There's that little dab. Add it to that.
Did you do any cold working of these pieces?
Nope, just washed them off. And sometimes there is, like, you can see a little bit of white on the foot from the thin fire, but that's an easy wash. Probably scrub these a little bit more when I actually get them the bales on. Make sure it's centered in the head. There we go. There. Another one. And for the piece of glass that I put this on, since it's going to be a low tack fuse for the sign, I actually did some cold working with hand pads on the edges of the glass because the temperature isn't high enough for the edges to round off. So that's always a good thing to do. A little more silicone on there. Pack. Gingerbread Man number 2. Father. Yeah. So there's the next one. And that goes. And these ones I'm actually going to make little ornaments on them, but I'm going to wait till they're small. And if I put this huge veil on, then, It's kind of big, so I have smaller ones that are coming in the mail. Yeah, here's the little stocking mold that I used. I also do some snowflakes. This is another silicone mold that I use for the snowflake mold that I got out. So I'm actually going to add a little bale to this snowflake. So I'll do that again. More silicone. A little dab. And that'll do ya. Okay. Okay. And then it's just deciding on where you want the bale, and hopefully it'll sit there nicely. Yep. Clean that off a little bit. And away that goes to dry. Okay, so I was talking the other day about the surface tension of glass. So here's a little penguin that we did with the freeze infused process. So, and you see how that is definitely more than 1/4 of an inch in thickness. So, and like I said, these are just placed right on the kiln shelf. No dams, nothing to keep them that thickness. And by fusing that, you can actually get a pretty thick cast piece of glass. Same with these. These are all little molds. It's a little pyramid. But
The cat. The cat is the same.
No, it's not a cat. It's a rabbit.
I meant rabbit.
A rabbit. And the rabbit's the same thing. It's definitely more than 1/4 inch. It's more like an inch. So, but yeah, very cute. Anyway, so these are some of the other letters that I did. They're very small letters, so again, you can do the whole alphabet and then place them onto make different components to put onto your other piece of glass. And yeah, so I don't know what else to say. Like we can actually, I can actually do another one of these, and I think I will. I'm going to make this is a Christmas tree silicone mold that I have. So I'll kind of move this aside, and I'll actually make a Christmas tree. I'm going to use the same glass colors that I had out here the other day. My bale's away for a moment. And again, so I'm just going to cover the process again. Do I want a yellow star or a red star? I think I'm going to do yellow. And you can use, so I'm just adding some water to this, the dry powder. So the powder did dry out over the last couple days. So from the time I did the first video, and it will. So you can just reconstitute it. So the first thing I'm going to do with the star mold, or the tree mold, is actually put the star in there. And then I'm going to put it into the freezer. So I'm just going to get the powder into the star, get it up in there. So the molds always have, well, these ones had a surround around them, so they actually came like that, and I cut them off so that I can actually get in there, because that's quite tall, and trying to get stuff into smaller areas is more of a problem. So I just cut them off, and you can actually use them for like a stencil kind of thing, where you can fill these with frit instead of the powder and do different things for making your ornaments that way. So I'm keeping these
powder wafers.
Yeah, powder wafers if you want to. But yeah, so that's another use for the cutoffs if you want to do so. Same with the star or the snowflake. Yeah, that would work really well. So nothing goes to waste if you don't want it to. So I'm just getting this in here and using my palette knife to move the powder into the corners of where the star is. And now I'm going to tap it a little bit. We're just gonna, and that just gets the water to rise to the surface, the excess water. So now I'm taking a piece of my toilet paper and just dabbing it in there. Let it soak up the water. And again, bringing the water to the surface, dabbing it out. And I do that until I don't see any more of the water coming to the surface. So it doesn't take very long. These are pretty small. And so what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to freeze it now because I want this component frozen solid before I add the next layer of powder onto this. And I'm actually going to do 3 layers of 3 different colors of green on here, and then a base for the trunk. So that'll be the last thing that gets done. So this will be in the freezer like 4 or 5 times.
Can you place strip balls in before you?
Yeah, you could do that, or you could do just little dots of color as well. Maybe I'll do that. So we're gonna add maybe a little, I don't want green. Or maybe I'll do some red dots of, like for the ornaments, or for the little Christmas balls on your tree. And mixing up. And for the little balls, I want it not really soupy, but more than it was there. So, because you want to be able to drop the dot down. And we're going to try it. No guarantee. So I'm just going to drop the dot. And by vibrating a little bit, or like by moving it up and down a little bit, you can actually make the glass powder mixed with water fall down into the mold. So here we go. Little dots of Christmas balls. That's me again. Goes with the Christmas music in the background. Little dot. And okay. So I'm going to do a couple more little dots here. It'll be lit up like my friend's Christmas tree, Sue. Her tree is like so many lights, it's amazing. Our poor little tree looks sick compared to hers, but that's okay. I think that is enough. I'm gonna stop there. So I have little red balls for the Christmas balls. So again, we're gonna try to vibrate this a little bit, but I can see the water coming to the surface. So we're just gonna carefully put the paper towel down in there.
You might be able to just leave those. There's so little water.
I know, but I'm gonna draw as much water. So I'm just barely touching the balls. And yeah, it is drawing. So I've screwed up my little piece of TP. So it, it's a point. Here we go. Any questions? Who else is on? Sheila. Hi, Sheila. Looking forward to taking a class from you next year. Yes, I'm looking forward to you coming back from Florida. You just left. Obviously, you made it to Florida safe and sound. That's all good. Yeah, so here's removing the water from the little balls on the tree. And then I am going to go and put this in the freezer. And thank God I have a freezer in my studio. Okay, so there's this. There's the start of the Christmas tree. So in the freezer goes to freeze all these components before I put more powder onto there. So away I go. Okay, so I'm going to continue making more letters because I need more for my sign or signs. So this can go away somewhere over the rainbow. There we go. And I took that out of the mold. So now I'm going to place my letter T. Now I've taken it out of the mold. Again, this is like a, I don't have to be too careful, but you want to make sure that you don't handle these too much. And once I place these on here, onto the kiln shelf, I do not want to touch them. Because if these sit here for even 10-15 minutes, they unthaw. So if you try to move that letter, it'll just be powder. And it'll fall apart, and then you'll have to make another one. So try not to touch them, but you can touch them while they're still frozen. But okay, so I'm gonna fill these molds again, stick them in the kiln because I need more S's and A's. So in it goes. And glass powder and water. I was saying in the previous video, this is like an amazing little process that is underutilized. And I have molds that I've made myself, like little acorns and stuff, that I can use for the same process. So I'm just kind of scraping it in there, and then I quickly do a little jiggle of the mold. You don't want to be too aggressive, because especially once you've drawn all the water out, if you are too aggressive with the moving it, trying to get the water to the surface, it'll actually crack. It'll break somewhere on that letter, and you might be able to see it, you might not be able to see it. And then when you pull it out, it'll be broken, and you'll be sad. So we're just gonna make sure all the powder is where we want it to be. La la la, flip, 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 flip. And I'm just gonna let that sit for a minute. Okay. Need more S's. I think I need, oops. And I go in with my palette knife and just kind of get rid of all the air pockets that might be in there. You can see there's one there. Because if there is an air bubble in there, it will show up in your piece when you fire it. Actually, you'll see it when you move it out of the freezer. Okay, so that's pretty much, again, flip, 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 flip. And I'm going to make another T. Get in there. Yeah. And again, moving my palette knife into all the recesses just to make sure there's no air pockets. Doing the best I can with that. No guarantees though. I can tell there's probably one down in here somewhere. Just by how, there we go. You can see a little air bubble come to the surface. I'm going to add a little bit more powder to that area. And we're going to shake, 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 shake. Do I need another O? Yes, I do. I need another O as well. So, and I'm going to make, at the same time, I'm going to make another letter for my stocking, my next stocking I'm going to make. So what are you doing, Rio? Whining away over in the corner. And flip, 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 flip. Rio's the dog, not... I know, Rio. What's going on? What's going on? And I think I have... Oh, I have another T. T's, S's, and A's are always... but with our name anyway. They're the... I have to keep making these over and over again. Okay, so my letter for my next stocking. E for Evelyn, which is Lance's mom. So we're going to make little stockings for all his family. Little stocking ornaments with their letter initials on them. Okay, there's the letter E. Who is from Calgary? Hello, Amanda from Calgary. ESY 516. I don't know who that is, but hello from Calgary. So if nobody knows, I'm actually from Calgary, Alberta. So yeah, I have a little following of people, friends and family there, and students that I've taught over the years. And I've taken classes at our studio in Batavia. Just adding a little extra powder to each one of them, just to make sure that they're all nice and full. So once you remove the water, they'll shrink down a little bit. So a little bit more. Okay. So TP. Here's my famous TP. Somebody spared a square for me this morning. See, a little square TP. Don't you remember the Seinfeld show? Can you spare a square? One of my favorite episodes. Anyway, actually, there are a lot of more. But okay, more tap 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 or flipping and you see how the water comes back up to the surface. So I definitely want to remove all the water, and I might push, what was on the excess on the center of the O into the middle. If anywhere else I see that, I do that. So more blup, blop, 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 blop. And then I soak it up. Another little piece of TP. I need 2 spare squares. There we go. There's the other one. Okay, flip, flip, flip again. Like I said, this is the most exciting part of the process. You see how shiny that gets when I'm flipping it. That's the water coming up. You want to remove that because you're compacting the particles in the mold. So that's what makes them keep their shape, and also all their detail is the compaction of the particles. And of course the firing schedule in the kiln, which is this is a particular firing schedule for these pieces. The temperature can range from, what was it, 1320 all the way to 1375. I think I used 1375 on the last run, and it was great for the larger pieces, but for the letters, I think that it was a little too warm, so I might do a little bit lower temperature on this next run, just to see if I can not get so much shrinkage. And retain the detail. Okay, so, and you can see how much shrinkage there is. So here's the D. So, like I said, it's, what, 25% or more, depending on how high you take them. So, with the little gingerbread man, well, I can't really show you here. I'll get the mold. Here's a little gingerbread man mold. So you can see, you know, there's, well, it's about 25% shrinkage on that. So yes, they do shrink from the size that they were in the mold. And you can never get away from that. So these look good. Might be concerned about that intersection there. I had one problem with the T yesterday, but let's see. Might add a little bit more water to that.
Eric and Richard in Calgary.
Oh, hi, Eric and Richard. Now I know who that is. Hope you're keeping safe and warm. It's a little chilly here. Probably, I don't know what the temperature is in Calgary today, but it's like -2 Celsius here, which is chilly for here. Okay, now I'm gonna put this in the kiln or in the freezer, and take it back out, and I'll bring the other mold out, and we'll fill that up. Okay, and this is the last I'm going to do. So, okay, so I'm going to add a little more green powder to that. I'm going to add some water. Got the contaminated water in there. Oh no. Might have a speck of brown or something. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to fill the mold. This is always like a little tricky. And I'm going to cover the star, because these are meant to be viewed from the front, and I want to keep it in that one little channel if possible. I don't want it to go anywhere else. I might tilt that a little bit. Okay. And get back where you belong. Okay, so I'm going to draw some of that water out right away. Okay, tap, tap, tap. There we go. There's the water. The water coming to the surface. I hope you and Eric, or you and Richard can come out here sometime. It'd be nice to see you here. Not for a while, but obviously all this stuff that's going on. But one day, hope you checked out some of the videos of the studio and where we live. Okay. So guess what I do next? I stick it back in the freezer. So that's frozen, and the next green, I'll pick out the next green for it. And that won't take long. And I'll be back. What green should I use? Oh, okay. So the next green I'm going to use for that one is maybe like an olive green. I'm just going to get some in here. Put some powder in here. Oh, don't need that much.
It look very green.
No, it'll be green. Lance wants me to show my little spoons. So I made these little freeze-infused spoons. These. Okay. Made these little freeze-infused spoons so that I actually could see what color each of the powders would be. And obviously, that does not look like the powder color at all, but when you fire it, that's the color it's going to be. So that's the reason why I actually made those spoons, so that I could actually see what color, and students could see what color that they were picking for their projects, because a lot of them, not a lot, but some people actually assume that that's the color that the green's going to be, and they're not really impressed with it. But I'm like, no, 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 this is the color it's going to be. So that would be perfect for my little snow, or my little Christmas tree. So, and then probably the last green that I'll use for that will be a dark forest green, which is even darker than that one. Add in my water. Yeah, exciting stuff. Okay, so that's ready for the Christmas tree. But I want to make another stocking, because the stockings turned out so nice, and I'm gonna do another red and green one. Or what color do you think your mom will like, Lance?
Red.
Red and green. Should I do the white on the top?
Sure, let's do that.
Okay. So again, more water. Yep. And then I have some white, a little cup for white. And to get the white, I should actually put the lid on that where it dries out. And sorry, my arm. It's cleaning up the silicone mess. Back it goes. So I can actually find it another time. Your stick can go back here. Bunk. Done. Okay. White Frit. White powder. And it's not the snorting kind. Believe me. So, and some more water. Some more fresh water. Okay. A jug. So we'll make the top of the stocking white, like the fur. I wanted to do little black dots for. I could for that, but I'm not. Okay, that's enough. Just by jiggling it, you can see how the water comes to the surface. I'm going to wipe off my spoon or my spatula. Okay. And now I'm going to place this into the top of the stocking. And the same thing, trying to keep it in that channel. That's good. And these are just like candy molds, so I've never made candy out of these, but once I use them for glass, I don't really use them for anything else. It's a little crunchy. And candy would be a little crunchy. Okay, drawing the water out. Tap, 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 tap. Draw the water out. Tap, 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 tap. Draw the water out. This is the kind of repetitive process that will not give you carpal tunnel. Tap, tap. Just about there. And then we'll do the little red toe and heel. There we go. No water coming to the surface. Okay. White goes away. Red comes forward. Wipe off the spatula. Palette knife, I should say. Stir up the red. And I might make it a little bit soupier so it goes into that channel easier. Into the toe. There it goes. And these, I've had kids come in and do this kind of thing. It's great, like family day kind of stuff. So, yeah, because the whole family can participate. And they're such a cool little objects when they come out of the kiln. Okay, so again, tap, 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 tap. Compressing the powders. Suck it up. Suck it up, princess. Suck it up. Tap, 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 tap. Like I said, really exciting. It is when you see the results. I love these little things, and they're so underutilized. But yeah, just cool little ways of creating objects in glass. Oh, what is coming up over there? Yeah, a little shiny still on the red. Tone heel, tone heel. Okay. That is done. So now I'm going to go and get my Christmas tree. And here you see this is what happens when you don't get enough of the water out. There's a little bit of shininess there. That's a little ice cube on top of my piece, but shouldn't make a huge difference. But I just want it solid so that when the next layer that I'm adding, it's not going to move and not going to bleed into the next color. Isn't going to bleed into the previous color. Okay, so again, I'm going to tilt it a little bit, but not too much. I'm trying to not touch my little Christmas balls. One thing I miss from being in Calgary around this time is a friend of mine, Brian's Christmas party. And we'd have a little pajama Christmas party, and we're actually going to do that tradition this year here in North Carolina with my friends here. So, but I always think of my friends in Calgary because we always had such a good time singing Christmas carols with Brian playing the piano. I don't know if you guys will be doing anything like that this year, though, because of lovely COVID, but oh well. Okay. And see how it doesn't bleed into the previous color because of of freezing it and then putting the next color in. And you can see there's going to be a line there, but I'm actually going to be covering the whole tree with some color at the end. There we go. So that is done. So I'm going to go get my stocking. And what color do you think she wants for her stocking, Lancy?
Green.
Green, same green? This green? Or the other green?
The other green.
This one? This
No,
one?
that one,
This
the first one?
Okay. Okay. Green it is. So, and this is going over the whole thing, so I might actually have to mix some more of this. I'm sure I will. So we're going to cover the whole stocking with the green. And just kind of smush it in there. Okay, I'm going to get more green. Green, green, green.
No Christmas party this year. Sad.
Yes, I know. Because it was always so much fun. Say hi to Brian for me. I have to give him a call. We're just doing it with a very small group of friends that are up here. Like, there's just 3 couples that we're together all the time here. We're pretty isolated up here, and yeah, they've been staying completely safe. So yeah, we do stuff with them, have more for dinner. So it's kind of nice we can do that a little bit, but no one else, no outsiders invited. So I can see where Brian's party would not be good. Yes. So here we go. Hey, we're drawing the water out, and there's a lot of water to be drawn out of this one. There's bloop. Too much blooping. So I'm gonna smush it down again. Draw, suck it up. Buttercup. Okay. And that's amazing how much water is in there. Okay, suck it up again. Just leaving it there for a little bit longer than you normally would. Here's my little stocking. So I made that extra letter, the E, which I'm going to pull out, and so that is going to be going on top of this. So I'm actually going to wait to pull the letters out before I I'll pull the stocking out, and then I'll pull the letters out, because I don't want the letters to start defrosting before I put it on the stocking. It'll just crumble, which happened yesterday. So yeah, I got a little excited. This might not be exciting for a lot of people, but like I said, I love what I do. in all its forms. Okay. Yeah, suck it up, suck it up, suck it up. And that's pretty much one more suck up. Yep. And now into the freezer. I'll be back. Oakley dokley. Okay, so now this is going to be another green, which is going to be darker. Look at that. Okay, and this is, again, a different green, dark forest green. Get a little cup, little mixing cup. Okay, water. Can't wait to see how the Christmas balls turn out on the tree. But still the brown to go for the trunk. Oh, this multi-part Christmas tree. But they will turn out so cool. And it goes over my little dots. My frozen little dots. And actually, I think I'm going to back this whole thing with white once I'm finished. Okay. Again, here we go. Let's see how it's bleeding into that. But it doesn't matter because I'm actually going to be adding a background so you won't see that bleeding. Sucking it up. I'm actually going to say, get back into there, please. Don't want you on my trunk. Okay, sucking up. What is that that just got in there? A little tiny piece of something. I'm not sure what it is. And out it comes. Don't want any foreign objects that aren't glass. Isn't glass. Maybe it's a piece of that. Who knows? Come on, get off of my... It's not even a trunk. It's just a little base. It's a Christmas tree holder. More stuck up. You can see it's amazing how fast that water gets absorbed once you get to a certain point. Blink, blink, blink. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Couple more jiggles and we should be done, except for the base and the background. Yeah, I know. Fiddly, fiddly. So, you know, I have a whole pile of these little Christmas tree ornament molds. And if I did this as a production line, I would actually be lining them all up and doing each one the first step, throwing them in the freezer. But we're just doing one-offs at the moment, unfortunately. So, but it's always good to see how the process works first before you continue on. So, but after yesterday or the day before when I was videoing the previous freeze infuse demo, and I saw how what the results were, I'm like, oh my god, they're so gorgeous. So I had to make more. Anyway, so this is going in the freezer. I'm just giving you a little tour of the studio. Okay, so the stocking is coming out. So I'm going to just pull. Oh, it's not frozen enough. It's not frozen enough. So I saw it split. So what I'm going to have to do now is reconstitute and start all over again. So I have to be more patient. So the letters go back in. And the sock goes back in, unfortunately. But better safe than sorry. So you can save it to a certain point. Like if it's still in the mold, you definitely can save it. If it's not in the mold and it falls apart, well, you can put it back in the cup. This is a multi-color piece, so you wouldn't be able to do that because it has other colors in it. But I am going to add a little more water because I see a little cracks here and there, and those will definitely show up in the final piece once I fire it. So I don't want to lose my stocking just because I'm a little impatient. So what I'll do is I'll do the Christmas tree. We'll put this into the freezer because usually I let these sit in the freezer for like a half an hour before I add more or try to take them out of the mold. Definitely before I take them out of the mold. Not so important when you're just adding more to the mold. But anyway, I'm going to put this back in the freezer. Do the next part of the Christmas tree, and I should have put the letters back in the freezer, but I'm not going to worry about it at the moment. So brown. I'm going to use actually, maybe I'll use I want to add a little bit of color to this, so I'm going to use this glacier blue. It's a really pretty blue. Well, this color up here, these letters are glacier blue, so they're very pretty. Anyway, more water. More water. Not too much more, but just a little bit. Okay, so this is going to be the base, the lovely glacier blue color. And I'm going to carefully, actually maybe I'll do the whole thing in glacier blue. There we go. Made a decision. In it goes. The whole back is going to be glacier blue instead of white. Okay. So we'll just get this. And I'll definitely need more glacier blue. Glacier blue. Where are you? Oh, too much stuff. Too many powders. Little cups. Cups. Cup to get out the powder from the jar. Powder out from the jar. Okay, dump. It's definitely more than I need for this, but I love this color. It's very pretty, pretty color. And I use these just so it controls the amount of water. I could pour the water in, but sometimes it just adds too much water at one time. And then you have to try to get it out by sucking it up with your toilet paper. And that can take longer than I want to sometimes. So it's fine because it's already blue. So we're going to add a little bit more soda to that. And then get it into the areas that it wasn't. There we go. So now I'm going to have a little drink here. There we go. Now sucking it up. And I want you to be able to see this because it's before we go. So I'll just let the TP do its job. There we go. Sucking up all that water. It sucked up quite a bit of it. That's amazing. You can see, watch it just suck up all the water right up to the top. Don't have to move it around too much. Again, here it goes. Okay. Just about done with the Christmas tree. Like I said, I'm going to leave this in the freezer for about a half an hour. So you won't see the results today of me popping it out onto the kiln shelf, but I will show it again in a couple days when I do my next streaming video, a little demo. So, which will be, what day is it today? It is Tuesday today, so it'll be on Thursday. So hope you can join me for that. That's ready to go into the freezer. Yeah, so I'll pop that into the freezer, and if you have any questions, I'm willing to answer them. You can always email me, or post them on the chat. But we're going to be stopping soon, so you can always make comments later. And so I'll show you these in a couple days, the results, and they'll be fired already. So, yeah. So hopefully you enjoyed my little video. And here's the little ornaments. That is on there pretty good. So now I can hang these from the Christmas tree and sell them or give them away as presents. So, but it's kind of hard to see this because of the light. Anyway, my little stockings. Here's the snowflake. Snowflake. And then my little gingerbread man. Yeah, they're so cute. You can't see the colors because the light is kind of sucky in here. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it. And thanks for joining me. And hopefully you'll join me in 2 days for the next part of the video demo. So thanks for being part of this. And check out our work on the October Arts Council Studio Tour website or on my website. So thank you, and we'll see you.